The weight of expectation. Once upon a time, in a sunlit village blessed by bountiful harvests, laughter and joy resonated in the air. The villagers thrived, especially the women, whose figures overflowed with generous curves, celebrated as symbols of fertility and abundance. They wore their body sizes with pride, each telling a story rich in culture, tradition, and shared meals. Among them was Zuri, a slender young woman whose figure often sparked the sharp tongues of lively gossip and gave rise to the feeling of being out of place. Zuri possessed an ethereal allure, characterized by her almond-shaped eyes that sparkled with kindness, framed by cascading waves of dark hair often adorned with wildflowers. However, her appearance was a stark contrast to the voluptuous silhouettes that flitted about the village square, dancing, laughing, and sharing heartwarming tales. Zuri frequently found herself hovering on the edges of gatherings, a flutter of disconnect swirling around her heart. While the village celebrated abundance, Zuri felt the weight of expectation pressing down on her. At each market day, she overheard whispers like rustling leaves, murmurs about why she didn't partake in the same feasting, why her figure was different. Yet, Zuri brushed aside the niggling pangs of insecurity, drawing strength instead from her familial roots. Raised by a beloved healer, she'd learned to connect with the world around her through natural remedies and the whispers of nature. On this particular day, the village thrummed with excitement as the annual harvest festival approached. Children ran through the fields, chasing butterflies, while laughter spilled from food-laden tables surrounded by music. Zuri walked through the market, observing the vibrant stalls filled with fruits and handmade crafts glistening under the sun. Her best friend, Amara, a radiant figure who exuded warmth, called to her from the center of a gathering. "Zuri, come and join us." Amara's voice was a siren song of friendship, catching Zuri as she wandered. Zuri hesitated. The prospect of being enveloped in warmth and laughter felt inviting, yet the weight of her loneliness tethered her, making her feel like a distant star in a swirling galaxy of bodies that seemed to shine brighter. "Zuri, don't be shy," Amara insisted, her laughter ringing out like a familiar melody. Zuri bit her lip and made her way toward her friend, the smile on Amara's face breaking through her hesitation. As she joined the circle, Amara introduced her to the other women, boasting about her diligence in gathering herbs that morning. The villagers welcomed Zuri, but their reverent glances toward Amara's curves turned their attention away again, making Zuri's heart ache. Yet, Amara linked her arm with Zuri's, providing her the strength and comfort she craved. "This is Zuri, my closest friend," Amara proclaimed, beaming with pride. "She knows the secrets of the forest better than anyone." Every woman turned their eyes to Zuri, whose cheeks flushed crimson. She smiled wanly, feeling gratitude swell within her but cloaked in insecurity. She offered to share some herbal poultices her mother had taught her to prepare, hoping to swap the weight of expectation for acceptance. As dusk approached, the festival burst into a lively display of dancing, potential, and dreams. But deep within her heart, Zuri felt like a cherry blossom in a bouquet of sunflowers, beautiful, yet distinctively different. She often sought solace in the forest, where the gentle caress of the wind and the whispers of the leaves filled her with purpose. In the quiet of her thoughts, she began to ponder why weight came in such different forms. Perhaps the weight of expectations pressed upon her didn't have to carry the same meaning. As the dance floor lit up with the flickering glow of fireflies, the laughter around her stirred something within. Maybe she could show her fellow villagers that abundance transcended physical appearance, weaving a deeper connection in every twirl of a skirt, every bite of food, and every shared story. Though the festival carried with it the weight of expectations, Zuri felt a spark igniting in the depths of her spirit. She knew she could cultivate hope amid the swirling energies surrounding her. By embracing her own gifts, she could lead the village to new understandings of beauty and abundance. With the festival coming to life and music soaring through the night, Zuri closed her eyes, envisioning a community that celebrated differences and uplifted one another. As the vibrant laughter wrapped around her, for the first time, she sensed that perhaps she belonged despite the weight she felt. A warmth began to blossom in her heart. Her journey to break free from expectation was only just beginning. A rich tradition. The sun soared high above as the village buzzed with anticipation, the scent of rich spices wafting through the air like a sweet invitation. The annual harvest festival was upon them, a cherished tradition where laughter mingled with aromas of feasting, celebrating the efforts of the earth and those who tended to it. The village square was transformed into a vibrant tapestry of color, adorned with garlands of flowers and woven baskets filled with produce of all shapes and sizes. Zuri inhaled deeply, trying to absorb the joy that surrounded her. Although she felt like an outsider at times, the exhilaration was undeniable, a siren's call to join in the festivities. Amani flitted around the square, her effervescent spirit infectious as she embraced every charming moment. Today, she wore a flowing dress made from brightly colored fabric that danced in rhythm to the melodies playing in the background. Zuri couldn't help but admire her friend's confidence, a grace that seemed to come effortlessly. Mama Nia is at the front stage, Amani exclaimed, her eyes sparkling. We should hurry before she starts the cooking demonstration. You have to see how she turns simple ingredients into magic. Zuri's heart arched with excitement and admiration, knowing Mama Nia was famed throughout the village for her culinary prowess. Following Amani, they navigated through the gathering crowd, Zuri holding onto her friend's arm tightly, seeking the warmth of her spirited company. The sight of Mama Nia steeling herself for the demonstration filled Zuri with awe. Mama Nia, a robust woman with laughter lines etched upon her face, radiated an unmistakable aura of confidence and nurturing. As she stood before an array of fresh ingredients, kale, yams, and herbs, the villagers leaned in with eager anticipation. Today, my friends, we reconnect with the earth, she began, her voice rich and enveloping. Each morsel tells a story, and every recipe carries the essence of family. Zuri watched as Mama Nia expertly chopped vegetables, demonstrated the art of seasoning, and recounted tales of her grandmother's kitchen. Her stories flowed like warm honey, wrapping around everyone's hearts. Each dish became a lesson steeped in tradition, celebrating the community's heritage while sharing snippets of life's wisdom, filling the spectators with reverence. As the villagers gathered around, Zuri felt her initial apprehension drift away as curiosity crept in. Would they want to learn about the herbs she often foraged? But what if her slender figure was all they saw? The thought teased at her, tugging her back. Yet, she reminded herself that sharing knowledge could forge connections. Her heart swayed heavily between fear and desire. Amid the demonstration, Mama Nia paused, glancing around. Cooking is not just about nourishment, it's about love, laughter, and unity, she proclaimed, inviting Zuri's gaze to meet hers. When we cook together, we gather strength. Who could resist a feast made with joy? Zuri felt a small flicker of hope at the gathered crowd who nodded, their expressions alight with appreciation. A spontaneous desire welled up in her. She raised her hand. Mama Nia, may I share a dish I've learned to make? The hush that followed momentarily stunned her. She could hear her heart pounding. She had said it aloud. Mama Nia's face lit up familiarly. Oh, Zuri. Of course. What will you show us? Herbal stew, Zuri replied, her voice gaining strength. I've learned how to gather wild herbs that can add flavor and nourishment. They connect us to our roots, quite literally. Encouraged by Amani's supportive nod, Zuri made her way to the front, the villagers shifting to make space. She felt the energy ebb and flow as she began to work with the few ingredients she had brought along. A freshly picked collection of wild herbs and some grains provided by Mama Nia. She introduced each herb with care, detailing their flavors and the healing properties each one possessed, a chance to weave herself into the fabric of the festival. As she stirred the stew, Zuri noticed how the atmosphere transformed. The villagers leaned closer, intrigued, not by the peculiar slenderness of the one sharing, but by the essence of what she offered. The warmth in the air nudged her insecurities aside, unveiling a tapestry of connection she had longed for. When the stew was ready, Zuri ladled generous servings into bowls, the fragrant aroma swirling around and wrapping itself around everyone like a comforting embrace. To her utter joy, the villagers tasted her creation, their expressions shifting from curiosity to delight. This is amazing, Zuri, Amani exclaimed, her voice bubbling over with excitement. The compliment rolled over Zuri like warm sunshine, melting away layers of doubt. Mama Nia wrapped a proud arm around Zuri's shoulders, the weight of connection settling comfortably in place. You see, dear girl, we all have something to bring to the table. Abundance does not just mean size, but the richness of spirit, the stories shared, and the love put into what we create together. With a smile broken free from every worry, Zuri understood then that she had woven her own story into their rich tapestry of tradition. For the first time, she felt like she belonged, and as laughter erupted around her, Zuri realized that her journey had only just begun. If you're enjoying the story so far, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us continue bringing more content your way. Thank you so much for your support, and let's get back to the story. Whispers in the wind. The warm sun hung low in the sky, casting a golden hue over the village as the echoes of the harvest festival slowly faded into whispers of shared memories. Though laughter still danced in the air, an unsettling quiet settled over the fields. The village, once vibrant with hope and strength, now faced an ominous reality. The drought had come. As days stretched into weeks with no rain, the verdant gardens dwindled. The laughter that once ebbed and flowed like a river soon turned to murmurs of concern. Zuri walked through the fields, her heart heavy as she surveyed the wilting crops and brittle blades of grass. She felt the pulse of the village dimming, anxiety growing like an unwelcome weed. "Zuri, come see." Amani's voice cut through her thoughts, a dash of enthusiasm in the midst of despair. Zuri turned to find her friend by the shade of the immense baobab tree, always a meeting point for stories and friendship. "You have to see this." They hurried to him, where Elder Jabu sat deep in discussion with several worried villagers. His wise eyes shimmered under the weight of concern as he listened intently. Zuri felt her breath hitch as she approached, the air thick with apprehension. "Hearken to this," Elder Jabu began, gesturing with his staff, its symbols worn from years of stories shared. "The wind carries whispers of change, but we must be prepared to listen. The earth is speaking. We must find a way to reconnect with her." A spark of curiosity ignited in Zuri's heart. She leaned closer, hanging on his every word. "What can we do?" someone asked, their voice reflecting the fear echoing in the crowd. "We cannot grow anything. The wells are drying. What if we can't feed our families?" Elder Jabu raised a gnarled finger, silencing the murmurs. "We must seek knowledge from the past. The ancients knew how to commune with the earth, how to coax life from even the hardest ground. Let us gather under the stars tonight, and we shall listen. The path forward often lies not in our hunger but in our harmony with nature." The sun sank lower, painting the sky in shades of orange and crimson as whispers spread through the villagers. Many seemed uncertain about the gathering, but Zuri felt drawn to it, her instincts urging her to seek answers from the earth. She envisioned ways to achieve harmony, recalling the lessons from her mother about tinctures, potions, and the delicate balance of nature. As night fell, Zuri stood among the villagers under a blanket of stars, the vastness of it all igniting a flicker of hope inside her. The fire crackled, casting shadows against eager faces, and she sensed their shared fears mingling with uncertainties. Elder Jabu rallied the group, guiding them in breathing deeply while closing their eyes, allowing the whispers of the wind to seep into their souls. "Listen," he musefully beckoned. "Feel the pulse of the earth, her sorrow, and her desire to heal. She gives us lessons wrapped in wind-swept whispers." Zuri obeyed, closing her eyes to concentrate. She opened her heart to the gentle breeze, coaxed by the flickering flames. A ripple of recognition cascaded through her, and memories of her mother's words flowed back, to cherish nature and its ability to rebound if treated with respect. "Let us search for nourishment that exists beyond our cultivated fields," Elder Jabu suggested. "Perhaps the forest still flourishes. Zuri knows this earth well. We must adapt. We must learn to find food, not just from farm soil but the wild gifts of nature." Zuri felt the village's eyes on her as if a spotlight emerged in the darkness. This was her moment, perhaps even her responsibility. "I can lead a group into the enchanted forest," she offered, her voice steady. "We can look for edible plants, roots, and herbs that could sustain us until the rains return." A murmur of agreement rustled through the crowd, a wave of energy shifting from doubt into determination. Amani reached out, giving Zuri a reassuring nod. "I'll go with you. Together, we'll find what we need." Encouraged by the support, Zuri surveyed the villagers, watching them draw strength from one another. The ordeal ahead would not be easy, but she sensed that hope intertwined deeply with their collective spirit. As dawn approached the following day, Zuri assembled a small group, Amani, Mama Nia, and a few villagers who recognized the urgency of their task. Clutching baskets and tools, they ventured into the forest, their hearts resonating with anticipation. With every step among ancient trees, Zuri felt the energy shift. Nature was alive, pulsing with secrets intertwined within each leaf and vine. She called upon her instincts, following trails of wild herbs she'd grown familiar with over the years, sharing knowledge about gathering roots and plants that could nourish them. As they foraged, laughter emerged, weaving their journey into moments of connection. They began to uncover a cornucopia of wild vegetables and fragrant herbs hiding amidst the foliage, sharing stories, laughter, and hopes for the future as they worked side by side. Zuri lost track of time, her heart lightening with each discovery. The whispers of the wind seemed to echo Elder Jabu's messages, guiding her deeper into the woods, where every tree and flower became a teacher, reminding her that resilience lay just below the surface. That night, as darkness cloaked the forest, Zuri returned to the village, her basket brimming with gifts. A glimmer of hope flickered in her heart. Together, they would not only survive but thrive. The whispers in the wind had led her back home, to community, purpose, and the power of unity. The call of the forest. As dawn broke over the village, a soft mist enveloped the landscape, giving the world a magical, ethereal quality. Zuri awoke before the sun's rays could break free of the horizon, her heart racing with anticipation and purpose. She prepared herself for the journey into the enchanted forest, armed with knowledge and a sense of urgency. Today, she would not only seek wild nourishment but also uncover the deeper wisdom the forest held. Hand in hand with Amani, Zuri stepped beyond the boundaries of the village, their excitement palpable. The forest loomed ahead, an ancient haven of towering trees bathed in hues of emerald and gold, whispering secrets in the gentle breeze. As they entered, shafts of sunlight broke through leaves that danced overhead, casting intricate patterns on the leaf-strewn path. Zuri breathed deeply, savoring the rich mixture of earthy aromas and floral notes that surrounded her. "Do you think we'll find enough?" Amani's voice was laced with curiosity and just a touch of trepidation. "What if we can't bring back enough food?" "Trust in the forest," Zuri responded, recalling the lessons of her childhood. "It provides us gifts if we listen carefully and respect its offerings. Nature has a way of surprising us." Resolutely, she led the way, her confidence a beacon that illuminated Amani's wavering heart. Their first stop was a grove where wild vegetables flourished. Zuri recognized the vibrant leaves of yams peeking shyly from beneath a bush. With delicate precision, she began to harvest, imparting the forest's gifts to Amani, who eagerly followed suit. Zuri felt the exhilaration of the hunt coursing through her veins, the earth affirming her every movement. "This is surprisingly wonderful," Amani exclaimed as she unearthed the first yam. "I had no idea we could find so much here." A smile spread across Zuri's face, her heart dancing with joy. Today, they were not just villagers foraging, they were explorers, adventurers reclaiming the knowledge that had been lost in the busy rhythms of life. With each new find, edible mushrooms, fragrant herbs, theirs was a spirit of revival that echoed the forest itself. As they wandered deeper, Zuri led them to a softly babbling brook that wound through the landscape, its melodic trickles punctuating the serenity. The sight of it ignited visions of her mother, who had always cautioned her to listen to the water's song. "It speaks to those who pay attention," she'd often say. Zuri knelt beside the water, cupping her hands to drink, and felt her mind clear as the essence of the forest washed over her. A rush of determination surged within her as she gathered wild peppermint leaves nearby, recalling their healing properties. These can soothe stomach pains, she shared with Amani, who nodded, impressed. "We can share this with everyone back in the village." The afternoon waned gently into evening, shadows stretching long in the dappled light. As Zuri prepared to round a bend, a sudden commotion caught her attention. A soft rustle among the ferns, and then the sheer beauty of a gazelle emerged, pausing to sip from the brook. Its large, gentle eyes met Zuri's, and in that moment, the world around them fell silent. "Isn't it beautiful?" Amani whispered, as they held their breath, afraid to disturb the creature before them. Zuri felt a rush of understanding surge through her. "It is a reminder of the interconnectedness of all life," she said softly, her heart swelling. "This forest is not just a place for foraging, it breathes with life, hopes, and dreams." Just then, the gazelle raised its head sharply, ears twitching, sensing something beyond their gaze. Zuri instinctively knew they should remain still. As if haunted by an unseen presence, the gazelle darted away into the thicket, leaving the girls alone once again. It struck Zuri how lives in the forest seemed to echo the struggles of the village. Survival was a delicate balance amongst creatures, people, and nature alike. "Let's head back soon," Amani suggested, her voice the tether pulling Zuri from her reverie. "What if they are worried about us?" After gathering their belongings, Zuri turned to lead the way back, still invigorated by their experiences. Yet, the way felt different now, a deepened sense of purpose threaded through each step. As they walked, Zuri spoke of her dreams for the village, envisioning how sharing the forest's lessons could transform their connection with nature and their own hearts. When they finally emerged from the trees, the dusk painted the sky in strokes of violet and indigo. The village stood before them, shadows of the people weary but hopeful. Zuri took a moment to survey the familiar scene, noting the flickering lights from the houses and the voices dipping into laughter, creating a melodious backdrop. As they approached, Zuri felt the artifacts of the day in her hands, the yams, herbs, and culinary treasures, but more importantly, she carried newfound wisdom, a sense of harmony that pulsed through her being. "We must share our journey with the villagers," Zuri insisted, blinking against the settling night. "They need to know the forest's call." Together, Amani and Zuri unveiled the gifts they had collected, excitement bubbling within them as they recounted their adventures, their encounters with the wild, and the importance of sustenance beyond what was elongated in cultivated fields. With each eager face that welcomed their accounts, Zuri recognized something profound. They were not just confronting scarcity, they were forging an alliance with nature to transform their idea of abundance. The forest had called to her, and together with Amani, the village would learn to answer. As laughter and cheers erupted around them, Zuri felt the heartbeat of change thrumming steadily within the community, echoing through the walls of her heart. Feasting on resilience. The village buzzed with anticipation as the sun began to dip below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. Tonight was special. Zuri and Amani had organized a communal feast, a celebration born not just from the bounty of nature, but also from resilience and creativity. The aroma of the wild ingredients harvested from the enchanted forest lingered in the air, igniting the villagers' appetites and hearts with warmth. As Zuri set up a long table in the village square with her fellow villagers, she glanced around, her heart swelling with excitement. A mix of voices filled the air as everyone contributed to the preparations, crafting dishes influenced by their adventures in the forest. Together, they combined their efforts. Mama Nia led a discussion on deep baking the yams, adding her signature spices, while Amani expertly whipped up a fragrant herbal stew using the wild greens and herbs Zuri had collected. "Who would have thought we could find food that nourishes the body and spirit?" Amani smiled, stirring the bubbling pot with a flourish. "This stew is going to be legendary." Zuri chuckled, her spirit buoyed by Amani's infectious enthusiasm. "And it's not just food, it's a reminder of what we can achieve together." As the sun melted into twilight, the villagers began to gather, eyes bright with eager anticipation. The long table, draped with vibrant fabric, became laden with the dishes they had prepared. The atmosphere buzzed with excitement that transcended the sense of scarcity they had recently felt. Instead, a spirit of gratitude enveloped them. Zuri took a mental inventory of the community assembled. Their faces, once dulled by worry and hunger, now glowed with happiness and hope. Elder Jabu, eyes twinkling with wisdom, stepped forward, raising a hand to quiet the crowd. "We gather here not only to nourish our bodies but to celebrate the strength that unites us as one. In these difficult times, we have learned from the earth we tread upon, and we have listened to the whispering wind." Zuri took a deep breath, feeling the energy shifting, the solidarity binding them stronger as the elder spoke. "In sharing, we grow. In resilience, we thrive. Let us feast together on the abundance of life and love that surrounds us." With that, the villagers began to serve one another, laughter and stories mingling with the savory aromas wafting from their plates. As she ladled steaming bowls of herb stew, Zuri felt her heart swell. Each serving was more than just a meal, it was a celebration of shared knowledge and the spirit of community that had emerged stronger through adversity. Zuri sat at the table alongside Amani and Mama Nia. Plates were overflowing with vibrant colors, stewed greens nestled beside tender yams drizzled in fragrant oils. They broke bread, savoring flavors that danced on their tongues, invigorated by the essence of the wild earth. "Zuri, this stew, it's marvelous," Mama Nia exclaimed, her voice rich with delight. You've turned knowledge into nourishment. Zuri blushed, humbled by the praise. It wasn't just me. It was all of us. We worked together. Laughter erupted as one villager recounted a humorous tale of their foraging adventures, how Amani had slipped in mud while trying to catch a mushroom. The atmosphere felt alive, reverberating with shared joy, storytelling, and the embrace of companionship. The night became a kaleidoscope of voices, a vibrant blend from past struggles transformed into present triumphs. Then, Elder Jabu quieted the table once more. Let's take a moment to express our gratitude. May the earth continue to provide for us, and may we always remember the bonds we share. Zuri closed her eyes, a sense of overwhelming gratitude enveloping her as she hugged her heart. In that moment, she realized how far they had come from the worry and fear of the drought. Together, they had forged resilience, stepping forward with newfound determination and purpose. As the villagers shared their thoughts, the conversation turned toward planning for the future. What if we establish a foraging group? One villager suggested. We can go into the forest and share what we know with others. Yes. Zuri's voice rang out, emboldened by the excitement. This knowledge of the wild can be passed down and shared with everyone. It's essential for us to continue this connection to nature and embrace the gifts it offers. A ripple of agreement passed through the crowd, the enthusiasm inspiring new plans and further unity. The night grew late, but the table remained buzzing with energy. They celebrated not only the meal but everything it represented, the bonds they had forged, the ability to adapt, and the relentless spirit of resilience that blossomed in the face of adversity. As the stars twinkled above, the villagers danced and sang, and Zuri's heart felt full of hope, strength, and a sense of belonging. The call to the forest had transformed their lives, bringing them closer together than ever before. With every shared plate and every smile exchanged, Zuri recognized that they would thrive through any storm together. A new dawn. As the first rays of sunlight broke through the dewy mist that blanketed the village, a renewed sense of hope shimmered in the air. Zuri awoke with the dawn, her heart swelling with excitement as she recalled the vibrant feast from the night before. It hadn't just been a meal, it had been a momentous celebration of unity, resilience, and the collective strength of the community. With anticipation fluttering in her chest, Zuri dressed and stepped outside, feeling the soft caress of the early morning breeze against her skin. The village, now illuminated by golden light, seemed to pulse with life. Children played joyously in the fields, their laughter echoing through the air like melodic chimes. She smiled, the warmth of connection embedding itself deeper within her heart. Zuri made her way to the village square, where Elder Jabu had called for a gathering to share the knowledge they had gained from the forest. As she arrived, she noticed Amani surrounded by a group of eager villagers, animatedly discussing their plans for ongoing foraging groups inspired by Zuri's leadership. The enthusiasm was palpable, and Zuri felt a surge of pride as she joined in. "Good morning, Zuri." Amani greeted her, her eyes sparkling. "They loved your ideas about integrating what we found into our daily lives. It's time for us to start learning more." "Yes," Zuri exclaimed, her spirit buoyed by her friends' enthusiasm. They were no longer merely surviving, they were thriving. Elder Jabu stood at the forefront, raising his arms to welcome the gathering. "Today marks a pivotal moment for our village, a day to embrace a new dawn filled with possibilities. Together, we will share knowledge, create a bond with the land, and nurture the relationships that connect us." As he spoke, Zuri looked around, her heart swelling at the sight of her fellow villagers, faces illuminated by hope and determination. They were all here, eager to learn, ready to embrace a new way of life born from the very soil they walked upon. "Let us divide into groups," Elder Jabu proposed, "and explore different aspects of our foraging ventures: cooking, herbal remedies, and sustainable practices. Today's knowledge will plant the seeds for tomorrow's harvest." The villagers burst into motion, excitement running high. Zuri, bubbling with ideas, took the initiative to organize a cooking workshop, inviting others to join her. Mama Nia stepped forward with her usual vibrancy, pledging to share her culinary expertise, and added, "And I will teach how to make dishes that harness the wild flavors Zuri has unearthed." They worked through the morning, blending wild herbs, roots, and vegetables gathered from their fruitful trips into the enchanted forest. Laughter echoed as familiar voices intertwined, their teamwork flowing seamlessly. Each dish crafted became a vibrant tapestry that woven together their shared experiences. In the midst of the bustling kitchen, Zuri caught a moment's breath, watching her fellow villagers transform ingredients into art with energy and revelry. Her heart swelled with gratitude at how they had come together, how they had risen beyond their struggles with shared wisdom and an unwavering spirit. As the afternoon sun climbed higher, she and Amani decided to host a small gathering to show off their newfound recipes and share the herbs they had discovered. They invited the younger villagers to help share the wisdom of their forage, teaching the next generation how to confidently explore the forest around them. Zuri couldn't help but think about how the village had changed since the drought had struck. Their struggles had sparked growth, turning into nurturing roots that now supported their connection with the land. They were now a community grounded in love, friendship, and knowledge, something they could pass on. As the sun began to sink once more, Zuri looked at the group participating in the cooking demonstration, a wave of satisfaction washing over her. The laughter, the food, and the stories being shared came together to create a tapestry of resilience that had become their identity. With every bite of wild herb stew and every laugh that echoed through the air, Zuri knew they had the power to uplift one another. They shared not only meals, but dreams and hopes for a future filled with abundance. That evening, as the village gathered under a starlit sky, Zuri felt a sense of belonging wash over her. Elder Jabu led a circle, inviting everyone to share their thoughts and experiences from the day's activities. Each story, each idea, added fuel to the fire of their unity, and Zuri couldn't help but be awed by the transformation before her eyes. "From struggle, we rise," Elder Jabu declared, his voice steady and resonating within every heart. "Let us remember, we are not just a village. We are a family bound by the earth, the land that sustains us, and our mutual compassion." As the night wore on, Zuri found herself standing beside Amani, both glowing in the warmth of solidarity. Together, they reveled in newfound possibilities. "We should document what we learn," Amani suggested. "Create a community cookbook. Pass it to future generations so they know how to connect with the earth like we have." Zuri nodded, her heart racing at the thought. Yes, a book of stories and recipes. It can be a legacy that teaches harmony and celebrates the gifts of nature. A new dawn was upon them, birthing a cycle of resilience fueled by love and gratitude. Zuri felt a profound connection to her community and the vibrant spirit of the village that now flourished in her heart. In this newly woven tapestry, she recognized her purpose: an advocate, a leader, and a friend, all blossoming in the nurturing embrace of the place she had always called home. Together, they had danced through storms and emerged into a dawn painted with hope, ready to embrace whatever challenges lay ahead. The future was bright, and Zuri knew the light would guide them onward, hand in hand. Did you enjoy this video? If so, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to join us for more amazing stories every day. Here at Daily Anything History, there's always something new to discover. See you in the next video.